Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing the Alejandra Guzman Wash Process Ecuador from Calendar Coffee. And there's the bag right there. And since this is their first time appearing on this channel, I'm going to include an article from Spread down below that discusses the roastery a little bit more in depth, and just a little bit of background information. They are based out of Galway, Ireland, which is on the west coast of Ireland. I myself have spent a brief bit of time on the east coast of Ireland in Dublin, so I became very familiar with 3FE's coffees, but while digging through some older coffee, I was able to find this washed Ethiopia I had from Calendar a couple years ago, and I don't remember too much about this coffee, but having an opportunity to try Calendar again was pretty exciting because I remember purchasing this coffee just because the bag designs are so unique, but I don't remember too much about it, and I wanted to give a more thorough assessment and background of Calendar as a whole. And let me get some important footnotes out of the way because there's quite a bit of footnotes on this one. There was a pretty big snowstorm in Seattle, so the shipping of this coffee was delayed, and the first day I was able to try it was day 20, which I think is fine. This is a lighter European roast, and typically when it comes to those coffees, they are better actually when you kind of let them extend out a little further than 2 weeks or even 3 weeks or so. And they didn't have a brew guide on their website, so I went with my standard 16.671 at 204 degrees Fahrenheit, and the roast profile I would call for this is a European light. So with all of that out of the way, let's start discussing this coffee. This right here is a day 28. All right, day 20, my first day, what I would describe as kind of some subtle red berry flavoring. It was a pretty creamy cup, and I had a pretty okay first impression of this coffee. Day 22 went back, again, pretty creamy bodied cup of coffee. Berry fruits, again, the most prominent thing. And then day 24, best way to describe this coffee for me was pretty much like a berry chocolate bar, kind of like a not overly sugary, but kind of lighter milk chocolate berry chocolate bar. And then day 25, perhaps some nice florals and some apricot in the cup as well, but it was definitely dominated by the strawberry and chocolate components to it. Best way, I think it's a strawberry berry that I was getting from it. And then day 26, definitely hitting some similarities. This is what I was thinking when I was drinking this on day 26. It has a lot of similarities to the Columbia from Kopi that I had reviewed, and quite a few of the Say coffees. They have this kind of lingering taste and characteristic that was similar in both of those coffee roasters' coffees, which I'll say is a pretty big compliment. I do like Say quite a bit, and while Kopi wasn't my favorite, they're a very well-liked coffee roaster out in Sweden. Light milk chocolate flavored candy bar. And then day 27, a nice hint of florals with an abundance of light chocolate to go with those red berries. Pretty consistent coffee throughout, nothing that was blowing you away. What I would describe as probably a little bit more on the tame side for later coffees. All right, let me go ahead and put up the tasting wheel so you can see what I was getting. I think instantly what you'll notice about this tasting wheel is that nothing hits a 4, because as mentioned, this for me was a bit more on the tame side. The things that are high, it was obviously very fruit forward, the chocolate, but I don't think that the chocolate was overly abundant, nor were any of the berry fruits. The florals at 3, I don't think it was equal parts floral as it was maybe berry fruit, but the florals were underrated and kind of nice, not the most acidic. Decent on the cleanliness, decent on the body, so a pretty well-rounded cup of coffee as a whole, even if nothing was necessarily standing out. So who would I suggest this cup of coffee to? I think that makes this really easy. People that do like their tamer light roasts, kind of think of maybe like a tamer washed Columbia. That's the best way I can compare this, especially since it had so many striking similarities to that Kopi coffee. And I think that's kind of the best way to describe it. There's a little bit of that cereal component to it as well, so I would say like berry cereal, berry chocolate, like very light berry cereal, very light berry chocolate. And that's not a bad thing for a lot of people. I prefer stuff that's a little bit more wild, and I'm very much looking forward to discussing their second washed Ecuador, because that one was definitely a bit more on the wild side, so I made sure I reviewed this one first and put this one out first. But I'm going to leave it at that, so I'm definitely curious if you've tried Calendar and if you've tried this Alejandra Guzman, your thoughts and impressions of this coffee or the roaster. If you're enjoying the content, give this video a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But this right here has been a review of the Alejandra Guzman Wash Process Ecuador from Calendar Coffee. Thank you.